the skin, and I'm using alizarin crimson and radiant green, but I feel like it's a bit dark, a bit cold, so I'm going to put in some burnt sienna into that mix as well, so that it reads like that. And that's what I'm going to use to describe the skin as it meets the ear and as it comes down for the jaw. There's a lovely elegance to Lake's, the shape of Lake's face. She's got a very long, not a very long, but she's got a kind of an elegance to her jawline as it extends down towards the chin. So that's what I want to capture first. It creates that, as I say, elegant kind of sweep up. And looking up at the shadow underneath the cheek now, it reads to me as though it's got more burnt sienna in it. So this is purely burnt sienna on its own, pushing and lifting. And I might just locate the rough position of the nostril as I'm at it. And I think I'll also re-indicate that corner there with a bit more of the burnt sienna. Okay, and now just using the corner of the brush, I want to locate for myself the position of the chin in relation to that shadow there. I don't want to do too dominant a line here because it's actually the warm light outline of the face that'll be there. So I think I'm better using a smaller brush. I'm dropping down to the quarter size brush, and I'm mixing a colour up that's more a warmer colour, just because I think that's a good colour to print. And I've made this colour with cadmium red and cadmium yellow. So just printing on the edge. And with that cadmium red and cadmium yellow, I could maybe indicate the upper lip as well, the shadow of the upper lip, just because it's on the brush really. And now I picked up some burnt sienna to describe the shadow where the lip stops and the skin above it begins. And then I could use that. Yeah, so let's see now, the outline of the upper lip. Yeah, so there's something like that kind of a shape there. And I think I'll use, probably useful to put a shadow in here to explain the edge of the skin back to the, and that's not Thunder, that's Lily coming down the stairs. There she is. So I'm using that to explain the shadow that's underneath the lower lip there. This isn't actually live, Lily. This is just, this one is for YouTube. I'm going to do the live one in a second.
I can swear.
No. And you can't take a mickey out of your mother either. Stop it. Could you just pull the bag up to the drawer behind, please? It's just right there behind. No, you need to go back and can you go underneath them? Thanks. Alright, so if you could push the bag up to the, that's it. Thanks. Okay, so I'll probably just do another couple of minutes. It's on the very top of the cupboards. Right, I'm going to use the alizarin crimson now in order to explain. Lily, you said I could eat some. I'm going to explain the outside edge of the light on the lip. See that bit there?
See that bit there?
And I think I'll also use it to describe the outside edge of the upper lip too.
Stop. That's annoying.
I mean, that's a bit dark, the whole lot, so I'll just lift it off. There we are. Okay, so I think that the paint is accumulating at the corners such that it reads as the lips. Right, I'll go back to the bigger brush now. Lily, will you tell me when it's 5-2?
No.
Thanks. And the line of the lip, no, the line of the neck extends up the way so that it would be about halfway between here and here. So this might be roughly where the line of the neck will be located. I don't want to bring it down there because it's bright down there. So instead of using the dark brown, I'm going to use the printed edge of the light colour down there. And I'll use that here. And I'll use that with the smaller brush to describe where the nose meets the skin of the philtrum below it. So there's a few different angles to the nose, and again there's a kind of an elegance to Lake's nose. It feels like it's kind of on the same vertical as the lips here. I don't want to do a continuous line, but I need to print some kind of an edge so we know where the nose is located. And when I draw a straight line down from the bridge here, it would cut through the corner there. The noise isn't ideal in the background, but I'm just letting her to it because I actually want to. I just want to be sure that I'm on time for my Zoom call in a few minutes, and so I want to get something done here that's kind of worthwhile showing you as well. And she gets tired of it. In fact, she's tired of it already. That's good. And just for the next video, I'll make sure that I don't have a cardboard box in the vicinity. And I'll replace this shape, which is a bit more diagonal that way. And then maybe find the edge. Well, I'm going to find the eyebrow. What time have we now, I wonder? Okay. See, I've covered the time. Sticking that up. What time is it? It's not saying. Okay. Okay for another few minutes. So I put some ultramarine blue into the colour so that I could describe the dark of the eyebrow. So I put some ultramarine blue into the colours that I was using on the face there. And I'm just putting some of that dark tone underneath the jawline as well. And now I want to put some as well into where the cavity of the nostril would be located. So when you put a dark colour in one area, it gives you a license almost to put the same dark elsewhere, or the same tone elsewhere. And that's it there, okay. And I think I'll indicate, just wanted to lift the corner of the mouth a little bit, so pushed it up, and maybe even just lift off the drop where it's gone down again. I think that's a more true location for the corner of the mouth there. Okay. What next? Yes, at the temple there's a lovely warm burnt sienna feel. It's not quite, with my eyes half closed, it's not actually as dark as under the Maisie's got an egg box now to tear. It's not as dark as under the cheekbone, but there is a significant enough shadow there that'll help me to show where the hair meets the temple. And if I were to go up a little bit further, there's also a shadow. There's also a shadow at the top of the forehead where the hair meets the forehead. So pull it out, and it's not far off horizontal, the edge where the forehead meets the space around it. I want to be sure that I've not got it coming out too far. I mean, it sits back about there, so it needs to go back a little bit further, that edge. Just printing it off with a paper towel. And I'll finish the eyebrow shape, I think. So if I were to continue the diagonal of the eyebrow, it looks to me like it would cut through the top of the ear, or just above this area here, so about there. So the one side of the eyebrow explains the front plane of the face, and the other explains the side plane, or as it curves around. I'm just going to integrate that, mark that landed there by mistake. Okay. And also it was a little bit of a shadow there as well, just where the eye socket stops. Yeah, and I'm going to do something to find the line dividing the lips a little bit more truly, because it feels to me like this. The mouth is still a little bit low down at the back. And I want to indicate the line dividing the lips there, so that it doesn't feel as though they're falling too steeply into the face. So I want to do that there as well. And the ear, like, it feels like I need to pull back here a little bit more. But the ear will start to do that as well, of course. Planting the ear and having the hair as it comes down is horizontal, a little bit below the eye, a little bit below the bend in the nose. So the hair will touch the ear about here as it's pulled back. Okay. putting some blue and brown together. Ultramarine blue and Van Dyke brown together to make a darkish runny colour that will be different from the skin colour. So it's not like got the same red as here, so just adding in some blue-brown mix there. Maybe just even blue on its own. Now that there's some water on there, will just make the hair read as a different shade. I'm getting a bit finicky with that, I'll leave it alone. More hair there, and then there's the triangle of hair where the forehead stops and the hair above it begins. And while I'm using the dark, I'm going to finish off that a little bit more to get the character of the hair. She had beautiful plaits in that day. Or her hair maybe is just naturally braided like that, kind of dreadlocks. But no, I think they were plaits. Anyway, when I've got the dark colour, I thought I may as well do the upper eyelash line, which would cut through here. But there. Dark of the upper eyelash line is a helpful dark to find. It doesn't extend as far out as the eyebrow does though, so I just pushed it back a little bit again there, and actually I'll extend the eyebrow forward a wee bit more. And now the iris, which is lost really, it's just really at the very edge of the white part of the eye. I'm putting some burnt sienna in as well because I want to indicate a bit more clearly something of the eyelid where it meets the socket, and it's not quite parallel with the eyebrow. It's steep. It goes down a bit more steeply than the eyebrow does there. And there's the shadow at the temple meeting the hair, and then there's the shadow that comes up to meet the upper surface of the lower lid. The iris colour just bleeded into that there, but I think it's okay. It's quite a lot of the white of the eye in this instance. I might even reduce it a little bit because I think it was just because she was turned, her iris was turned looking a different direction. I think that's why there's so much white. So I might even, just letting the colour bleed a little bit there reduces the feeling of all that white as well. And the way the lid merges into the rounds in, it's good to have a shadow there too. And I think here where the eye socket nestles into the bridge of the nose. And of course I need to re-establish the dark in the iris and the eyelid once that's dry, because they're the darkest parts really of the eye area, are they? Yes, they are. So a bit more Van Dyke brown and ultramarine blue, and I'll deepen tone of that. Maybe include some dark up there again. And I might put a touch in the lower lid too. And the nose, back of the mouth, which I'm lifting up again. And maybe the shadow behind the ear, which I could use a bigger brush for now, just to push up and lift to allow the colour I just placed on there to run down. Feels like there needs to be some description of tone in here. I think it's around the cheek here. Kind of warms up a little bit as it comes towards the light, I reckon. And although the white is the same on the skin beyond the iris as it is in the white of the eye, it doesn't help me for that to be the case. So I'm lifting the white on the front of the iris a bit, and I'm going to put a touch of cerulean blue into the white of the eye. Now the cerulean blue just mixed with the colour of the eyelash, which is darker blue, but I think it's okay. And finally, because I think it's time for me to go, I'm going to work on the lower lip a little bit. Just bring a bit more colour into this area. There's a nice warmth there. And there could be a bit more colour there too. Don't want all of the dark dropping down though. Right, So I'm going to go on to Zoom now and let everyone in if they're in the waiting room. It's not exactly as I would want it, but we're getting there, and I feel like it's alive, that there's movement possible still in everything. It's lightly enough painted. There's a touch more for the lower lip, which actually reads completely white, but it's not. Putting a touch of crimson into the bit just where the overbite is there. And I could probably adjust the chin to sit back a little bit more. I'll just lift out what's there and let it free for me to change it later. Yeah, okay, I need to go. Right. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, see you next time.